11-3, the ACC runner-up, and finishing the season ranked 15th in the country, the best finish in program history. Wake Forest is coming off a season for the ages. The million-dollar question is, can they repeat it or do even better in 2022? So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, ready to predict Wake Forest's schedule and record for this upcoming college football season. As always, guys, please continue to like, comment, subscribe. Check out everything down in the description below. We've got nonstop content and offers there for you that we don't want you to miss out on, and all those things that we want you to take advantage of so you can join our team today. So you take a look at Wake Forest, guys. You take a look at their numbers, brought to you by College Football Encyclopedia. This team is once again loaded and poised to make a run to another ACC title game. They returned 70% of last year's production, that is 39th in the country, for a unit that was 11th in the country offensively. Obviously, the big name for Wake Forest is Sam Hartman. It feels like he's been with the Demon Deacons forever. This will be his last year. And he threw for over 4,200 yards last year and 39 touchdowns to solidify himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. He's paired with A.T. Perry, one of the best wide receivers in the conference, had over 1,200 reception yards and 15 touchdowns last year, and a loaded offensive line. The defense, though, guys, that is what's going to be the Achilles heel for Wake Forest. That's what needs the most improvement. 7 starters back on that side of the ball, but they were 91st in the country in defense last year. They were 111th versus the run last year, allowing over 195 rushing yards per game. So the Demon Deacons have to improve on that side of the ball if they want to take that next step. When you take a look at their schedule, guys, this is a schedule that's much more difficult than it was last year. Wake Forest, again, 10 regular season victories, made the ACC title game, won their bowl game over Rutgers. The schedule's a lot more difficult. Getting to 10 wins in the regular season is going to be tough. But I will say we think they start 3-0. Just like that, we think they beat VMI, Vanderbilt, and Liberty. Liberty, the toughest out of those 3 opponents, but they're dealing with life post Malik Willis. And I think with the Demon Deacons hosting this game, Liberty going through some growing pains, they'll get this win. So the 3-0 start's going to be great. Wake Forest will be probably a top 15, top 10 team at this point. Clemson at home. That's the biggest game of the year. Because the Demon Deacons can beat Clemson, they're in the driver's seat of the ACC Atlantic. If they fall, they're going to need some help. You take a look at the Clemson game, guys. Wake Forest lost in Death Valley last year, 48-27. They lost by 21 to a Clemson team that was down in 2021. The Demon Deacons struggled to move the ball against that Clemson defense. And the scary thing is this Clemson defense now might be even better than the one we saw last year. Arguably the best defensive line in the country, loaded at the linebacking core, loaded in the secondary. And even though they get to have home field advantage here, guys, I don't know if Wake Forest has enough to beat Clemson here. I don't think they have enough to take down the Tigers. I think the offense will struggle once again. I think Clemson's offense improves drastically. They have a solid offensive line. Will Shipley in that run game should be able to exploit the Demon Deacons up front. And I think Clemson does come on the road and take down Wake Forest. This is their great opportunity. It might be one of the best opportunities they've had in years to take down Clemson, but I still think they're going to fall short despite getting to host this game. So they're 3-1 now. They travel on the road to Florida State. They beat the Seminoles by 21 last year, 35-14. There is something to be said, though, guys, in my eyes, as a Clemson hangover. Wake Forest is hyped. They know the importance of that Clemson game. They fall short to the Tigers, and I think they slip up on the road at Florida State. I think they're down on themselves. They go into a hostile environment in Tallahassee against a Florida State team that is improving drastically. A Florida State team that should be in store for their best year yet under Mike Norvell and should be able to make a bowl game. The offense is there. Jordan Travis has improved. The wide receivers are there, especially the ones they've added to the transfer portal. And the defense is getting better and better, especially in that secondary. We know that Wake Forest, their strength this year, as it would be under Sam Hartman, would be to throw the ball. It's through the air. When you face a solid secondary, they might struggle a bit. So I think they're going to drop that game to Florida State. I think a mixture of it being on the road, the improvement of Florida State, and obviously the down and the morale around the team after that loss to Clemson, all of those are going to play factors in that loss on October 1st. We do think they bounce back, though, and beat Army. And it might not be as high scoring as the game was last year. Last year, Wake Forest beat the Black Knights 70-56 on the road, but allowed 416 rushing yards and 595 yards total. The two teams combined for over 1,200 yards of offense. So we should see a great aerial attack in Wake Forest and a great rushing attack with that triple option of Army. With the game being in Winston-Salem, Dave Clawson and his squad, knowing they have to win this game against the Black Knights, can't afford a 3-game losing streak. They are going to get the job done. And I think, last year they got to see the Black Knights. A lot of the times that triple option catches you off guard. They're going to have film to work on from last year. I think Wake Forest is a lot better against the run on October 8th. They come out of the bye week, guys, and the schedule lightens up a little bit. It really does. Coming out of the bye week, they take on Boston College, and getting Boston College at home off a week of rest is very beneficial. So much so that I think Wake Forest does win this game. They beat the Eagles 41-10 last year, and I know a lot of that contributed to Boston College's health, especially to their quarterback Phil Jurkovec, who just couldn't stay healthy last year. But even with Boston College at full strength, Jurkovec is healthy. Zay Flowers is still there. The defense, even though they ranked 3rd against the pass last year, I don't think that's going to matter too much with Wake Forest being fully rested, having this game at home, and obviously recognizing the importance, realizing, hey, we still have 2 conference losses. ACC title hopes might be done, but a New Year's Six Bowl, certainly not out of the question. So they beat Boston College. I think they do beat Louisville. This, to me, is probably the biggest trap game on the schedule. Maybe that one and Florida State, the 2 biggest trap games for Wake Forest this year. But I think Wake Forest does enough to take down the Cardinals, a team that is still struggling defensively. I think Wake Forest is going to have to do everything in their power to shut down Malik Cunningham. It's going to be a tough test. We've seen a lot of great games between these 2 teams, including last year, where Wake Forest won just by 3, 37-34. And I think the defense does just enough. They're still rejuvenated after that bye week, fresh off a big win over Boston College. I think they get the win over an improving Cardinals team. They then go on the road to NC State. This is going to be a big game again, guys. Maybe for 2nd place in the Atlantic, depending on how Clemson's doing. Last year, the NC State-Wake Forest game was huge in determining who would win the Atlantic because Clemson was, again, down. And Wake Forest won that game in Winston-Salem 45-42. Again, such a huge reason why Wake Forest won the division last year and made the ACC championship was because they beat NC State. But now they go on the road to NC State, and they will not have the same luck. They will fall to the Wolfpack because the Wolfpack are loaded, maybe more so than Wake Forest. Great quarterback in Devin Leary, who does a phenomenal job taking care of the football. He's got the wide receivers to pack him up. He's got the offensive line to protect him. And that defense might be one of the best in the conference. I might even rank them 2nd in the conference, only behind Clemson. With the game being on the road, NC State wanting revenge after that devastating loss last year, I think the Wolfpack get it done. Wake Forest falls, and they take their 3rd loss of the year. After that, though, guys, the schedule, pretty much a breeze down the stretch. North Carolina, not going to be easy. Revenge is going to be a major factor here, though. If you look at last year, Wake Forest started the year 8-0, and their first loss came to North Carolina after the Demon Deacons blew an 18-point lead in Chapel Hill. So they blew an 18-point lead. UNC came back, won that game, like 55-52, something along those lines. Wake Forest won't allow that to happen this year. At home, revenge on their mind. They're not going to blow a lead. I think they're going to take out their frustration on a North Carolina defense that will improve, but not nearly enough to take down Wake Forest on their home turf. So they beat UNC. We think they beat Syracuse. The bigger reason for that is because the game is at home. I think home field advantage, having it be senior night, helps out a lot here. They only beat the Orange by 3 in overtime last year, and Syracuse can exploit that Wake Forest run defense. Again, the Orange averaging over 216 rushing yards per game. That's one area that they're going to be careful here with, but if Wake Forest can bottle that up, slow that down just a little bit, I don't have faith in Garrett Schrader to get the job done through the air. So Wake Forest will defeat Syracuse on senior night. Again, a major reason there. And then they take down Duke on the road. They beat Duke 45-7 last year. The Blue Devils, dealing with a new coach, had the worst defense in the country last year. Wake Forest will have no problem with them, and they will finish the year at 9-3. And so, guys, again, last year was a historic season for Wake Forest. The schedule is a little bit more favorable last year than it was this year. But even now, a 9-win season. They're 7th straight bowl game under Dave Clawson. A shot at a 10-win season if they can win their bowl game. You got to be happy with that in Winston-Salem. Many would view 9-3 as a disappointment. But with the schedule they're having to go up against, I think 9-3 would be a great success. And Wake Forest, again, continues to trend in the right direction and seeing unprecedented success under Dave Clawson. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com, to sign up for those expert picks. Join our team today, guys. We want you to become a part of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.